That was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
The feeling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown.
I'm not going to say honest because I don't know. If honesty had something to do with it, I don't know. But definitely we need better refs that assure themselves, know how to make a decision, know they're making the right decision.
New leaked footage reportedly shows that Gervonta Davis cheated in his fight against Lamont Roach on March 1st at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. During the fight, Davis defended his WBA lightweight title against Roach. In the 9th round, a controversial moment happened. Davis suddenly went down after a light jab touched his face. According to boxing rules, this should have been counted as a knockdown, but the referee let the fight continue without giving a full count. This decision kept the scores close, leading to a majority draw.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face, that's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
In the days after the fight, people have continued to question not just the referee's decision but also Davis's actions during that key moment. Now, newly leaked footage is adding to the controversy, suggesting that Davis may have intentionally manipulated the fight to gain an unfair advantage.
And that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank and I like Tank a lot, but you can't do that.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right, to keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like if you're gonna do it to me, you got to do it to everybody.
Newly surfaced footage, reportedly from a hidden source within the broadcast team, shows a different angle of the controversial 9th round. Observers have pointed out strange details in Davis's behavior. The footage appears to show him pausing right after the jab, almost as if he planned the move instead of reacting naturally. His body language and the timing of his knee drops seem rehearsed. In the same clip, a member of Davis's corner is seen moving unusually close, as if preparing to step in. While cornermen typically assist with wiping sweat or adjusting gloves between rounds, the timing of this moment has raised suspicion. Some analysts argue that Davis's sudden drop to one knee, followed by a quick retreat to his corner, looked more like a tactic to buy time rather than a genuine reaction to being hurt. This has led fans and experts to believe that what first appeared as a slip, possibly from sweat or grease in the eyes, could have been a planned move to stop Roach's momentum. As the controversy grows, Davis and his team have denied any wrongdoing. In social media posts and interviews, Davis insisted his knee drop was due to grease from his freshly done hair affecting his vision, a claim many fans already doubted on fight night. His team also argued that short clips taken out of context can be misleading and don't tell the full story. Adding to the debate, referee Steve Willis has faced criticism for not ruling the knee drop as a knockdown. While Davis's team says Willis made a judgment call under unique circumstances, critics believe his inaction, combined with Davis's suspicious movements, suggests a deeper issue at play.
Know how to make a decision, know they're making the right decision, emboldened to make that decision. I think that I don't know that he would have let Roach get away with that. He let Tank Davis get away with. Why? Tank Davis is a star. I think he set a record for the most fans ever in Barclays Stadium. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I believe they hit a new attendance and maybe a gate record. They've done concerts there, they've done fights there, basketball games there.
I think you're right. It was the record for the gate for a fight for sure. I think the Rolling Stones might be the only one that beat them at the Barclays, but either way, they did huge numbers.
The lack of an immediate official review, made worse by technical issues with the instant replay system during the fight, has only fueled suspicions. If the leaked footage ultimately proves that Davis cheated, the consequences could be serious. His nearly spotless record could be stained, and he might face penalties from boxing authorities. There are already discussions about whether the WBA or the New York State Athletic Commission will reopen an investigation into the fight. But the impact goes beyond just Davis's career. This controversy highlights deeper issues in professional boxing, where quick decisions, unclear rulings, and possible misconduct often spark debate. If regulators find evidence of rule breaking, it could lead to calls for stricter oversight and better review systems to protect the sport's integrity.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the reality is can the state call for an immediate rematch? I don't believe they can, the commission. It's really up to the governing body. I mean, the commission can overturn a decision or rule on a decision, but can they order a rematch? That really has to come from the governing body, the WBA, to say, if you want to remain lightweight world champion. But everything I'm hearing is the rematch is going to happen anyway. Like, I think it's pretty much done.
Talk to us about the star power in this May 2nd card.
Yeah, I mean, you got 3 of the hottest young fighters in terms of that, that social media presence.
This latest controversy has sparked a debate among fans and experts about the need for more transparency in boxing. While leaked footage can sometimes be taken out of context, it highlights flaws in the current review process. As a result, boxing commissions may have to adopt better technology and stricter rules to ensure every controversial moment is reviewed fairly. Many fans have already taken to social media, demanding that governing bodies release the full fight footage and explain the referee's decisions. While the leaked video has added to the controversy, it's important to remember that allegations alone don't equal proof. The footage raises serious questions, but it only captures part of what happened that night.
I've heard some people saying, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner. I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
Boxing has always been a sport full of strategy, where the line between smart tactics and cheating isn't always clear. As the investigation continues, fans and officials will be searching for solid proof to either confirm or dismiss the claims against Gervonta Davis. For now, the debate continues. Some accuse Davis of exploiting a loophole in the rules, while his team strongly denies any wrongdoing. Regardless of the outcome, this incident has left a lasting mark on his career, proving that in boxing, even a few seconds can change everything. The judges' scorecards, 114 to 114, 115 to 113, show how close the fight was as Davis defended his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach. But one moment in the 9th round has taken center stage, sparking controversy across the boxing world. As Roach pushed forward, landing a quick 1-2 combination and a sharp right hook, Davis briefly paused, turned to referee Steve Willis, and then voluntarily took a knee. Instead of being ruled a knockdown, Davis quickly ran toward the ropes, seemingly looking for a towel to wipe his face, leaving fans and analysts confused about what had just happened.
He's a star. He brings people. He's got a big fan base. He brings good pay-per-view numbers. I don't know what the numbers are in this, but, he's one of the guys that bring good pay-per-view numbers. I think all of that, he brings that with him. When a referee allows him to take a knee, which is not a rule in boxing, and get away with it, and not make it a 10-8 round. That should have been a 10-8 round. He got hit with a jab just before that. I'm not trying to go after Tank Davis. People already know. Some people say I defend him too much, that I'm saying how great he is. And he is. He's a tremendous, complete fighter. Puncher, fighter, inside, outside. He's patient. He's responsible defensively.
Once a round starts in boxing, there are no timeouts or breaks to recover. Yet, Davis not only took a knee but also created an unofficial timeout, both clear rule violations that should have led to either disqualification or a knockdown ruling. If you're wondering whether referee Steve Willis counted, he did, but when he reached 3, instead of stopping the fight, he let Davis get up and continue as if nothing had happened. The fight ended with one judge scoring in favor of Davis while the other 2 called it a draw. Davis later explained the incident by saying, "When I sweat, the grease was getting into my eyes," and suggested a rematch in New York. However, experienced boxing analysts, including Ring Magazine, argue that taking a knee without being hit should have been ruled a knockdown. Since the referee failed to make that call, Lamont Roach Jr. missed a chance to win by unanimous decision. At 29, Roach couldn't accept the result as fair. Unwilling to let it go, he and his team have now enlisted an attorney to formally request an investigation by the New York State Athletic Commission. Roach has openly criticized Davis for the knee incident, stating, "I'm happy with my performance, but frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I won. Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown. The controversy escalated further when Davis and Roach clashed on social media. In a now-deleted tweet, Davis wrote, "They took the fight from me and made it a draw because of the knee," adding, "But I landed the most punches." However, community fact-checkers pointed out that CompuBox stats actually showed Davis landing fewer punches overall. Roach responded by saying, "That community note is crazy, that's smooth." The debate over the fight has refused to die down. Davis, once seen as untouchable after his 2024 victory over Frank Martin, now finds himself at the center of a storm. Roach, who entered the ring as an underdog, defied expectations by pushing Davis harder than anyone before, landing clean shots and shaking him multiple times. Though the judges ruled it a draw, many believe Roach had done enough to win outright.
Defensively, he's got fast hands, he puts punches together, he goes to the body and head. He's all of that. He can counterpunch, he can set traps, all of that. But he was wrong here. He got away with it. But the sport let him get away with it. There's nothing wrong with the fighters.
The controversy surrounding Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr.'s fight intensified after a key moment in the 9th round. Referee Steve Willis failed to call a knockdown when Davis took a knee, a decision that may have cost Roach a unanimous win. Now, over a week later, speculation continues about a possible rematch, and new voices have entered the conversation. Lightweight prospect Raymond Muratala's father, Gabriel Muratala, weighed in on the fight, stating that Roach's success against Davis came from their previous amateur matchups. Muratala also criticized Davis, saying, "Tank respected him too much. We won't do that. We'll pressure him and make the fight." Meanwhile, the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, has finally made its ruling. It acknowledged that referee Steve Willis made an error by not calling a knockdown but decided to uphold the majority draw. The commission stated that because the fight continued for over 3 rounds after the incident, overturning the result would not guarantee a fair outcome. Roach's attorney, Gregory M. Smith, expressed disappointment but remained hopeful, saying, "Lamont is confident a rematch will bring a victory. Until then, he's the people's champion at 135 pounds. Roach's team was also frustrated that Willis interrupted his count and allowed Davis to receive attention from his trainer mid-fight, a move that could have led to disqualification. Adding to the controversy, 2 judges scored the 9th round 10-9 for Davis, which helped preserve the draw. Gary Jonas, founder of ProBox TV, which backs Roach, voiced his frustration. "It's a disappointment, but we had to protest. Once we get Lamont back in the ring with Davis, we'll have a chance to set things right." Roach, who entered as a 16-1 underdog, stunned many by landing stronger blows and shaking Davis twice during the fight. Despite this, he remained unfazed by Davis's power. While the NYSAC admitted Willis made a mistake, they chose not to change the outcome, arguing that both fighters had already adapted to the initial ruling. Roach's team had officially protested, believing that if the knockdown had been recognized, he would have won the fight and become a 2-division world champion. However, the decision stood, allowing Davis to keep his unbeaten record and WBA lightweight title.
The sport that there's a lot wrong with. And there is. And you see it. And we shouldn't keep seeing it. It's got to be stopped. A referee, that is not in the rule book. You get hit with a jab. I know there was a second or 2 in between. Sometimes you see a delay, knockdown, whatever. The punch didn't hurt him. I understand that. But he got hit a jab, and then a second, 2 seconds later, he takes a knee. Guess what? I'm sorry. That constitutes a knockdown. Your knee goes down after a punch somewhere around there. That's a knockdown.
The fallout from the controversial draw between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. continues to ripple through the boxing world. A recent interview on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson shed new light on Roach's perspective. When asked whether the referee's missed call in the 9th round affected his approach, Roach was adamant, "I must say no." Rather than seeing Davis's knee touch the canvas as a sign of defeat, Roach viewed it as confirmation that his strategy was working. The simple fact that he took a knee was really a boost because what we're doing is working, the Washington native explained. Roach, who had fought Davis twice in the amateurs, believed the moment was a game changer. After landing a crisp 3-punch combination, one shot landing flush on Davis's eye, Roach turned to the referee, demanding, "Keep counting, he's tripping, that's a knockdown." Referee Steve Willis initially began a count but then inexplicably stopped, deciding against calling it a knockdown. This decision proved pivotal in the fight's outcome. Adding to the controversy, Davis' coach, Calvin Ford, stepped onto the ring mid-round to wipe his fighter's face, an undeniable rule violation that could have led to disqualification. Boxing figures across the sport have weighed in. Ryan Garcia took to X, questioning the commission's consistency. Nothing against Tank, but since the commission switched my victory, they should switch this for Roach. They won't though, because they were out to get me from the beginning. Terence Crawford echoed the frustration, tweeting, "Roach won and that should have been called a knockdown. Let's see what happens." In another tweet, he added, "I never seen someone take a knee and they don't count it as a knockdown. Must have forgotten the rules tonight." Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez voiced his continued support for Davis, stating, "I still think Tank will win against Shakur Stevenson. Technically, I just think like that." However, Lopez admitted that Davis needed this wake-up call. Tank had been sitting on his laurels, he said, believing this experience would make Davis more cautious in future fights. When asked who won the fight, Lopez responded candidly, "To be honest, I'll say Tank, for the name. As for the knee controversy, it doesn't really matter, guys. It's boxing business." Despite the NYSAC's decision to uphold the draw, the debate rages on. Roach remains focused on securing a rematch, with many in the boxing world rallying behind him, demanding accountability and change.